there's no bigger drama right now than the little war of words between Nemanja Matic and Andre Onana, obviously goalkeeper for Manchester United, former Manchester United player, currently at Lyon, Nemanja Matic. They had their.
I will say it's 1-0 Nemanja Matic.
I mean, we know who was right.
Yeah.
But the comments that happened, this was before the Europa League matchup on Thursday. But Nemanja Matic were responding to Onana's comments. He says, "Quote: Onana said they're way better than us. When you are one of the worst goalkeepers in Man United history, you need to take care of what you're talking about." And he goes on to say, if it was Van der Sar...
That's very like, that's kind of like how Fox News does stuff. They don't say like streets are they're dangerous. Are they more dangerous than they used to be? He's like, when you're the worst, I would maybe consider using different words, which is such a slight way of telling someone you're trash.
Yeah, he goes, it says, quote, if it was Van der Sar, Schmeichel, or De Gea saying that, okay. But Onana, he's one of the worst.
And then he just says it. And he's like, enough with all that slick talk.
Let me get to my point.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not sort of with the media training that we hear from and the media speak from most players. We usually don't even get things like this. Maybe like somebody says something on a podcast and it was a little spicy,
or they say something like, we'll see what happens in the game. Something very light, but let you know, like, I heard it.
Yeah, we don't get. He's one of the, like, he went on. He said he's statistically one of the worst goalkeepers.
My man trash. My man been trash. You shouldn't even be able to talk.
Look at these pie charts. Right? I'm telling you, bro.
The Venn diagram just has the poo emoji in the middle, and that's him, bro.
So, and I think it's a Matic. Onana. Did make a comment about like that at least he lifted a trophy with United, which obviously the FA Cup, and Matic never did.
Two, right? The FA Cup and the Carabao.
Sure. Yeah, I don't remember when they won that, but maybe they did.
Well, because what's his name? Ten Hag won 2 trophies.
Okay, that's
so
right.
I can't remember what the other one was. Yeah.
So he's so he pointed, and there was a photo, or I think he posted a photo of him kissing the FA Cup trophy or whatever. So you think, all right, Onana clap back. Hey, you ain't won nothing with this team, but I did. And then Lyon and Manchester United face each other, and the 2 goals that are given up, it ended up in a draw. People are putting a lot of the responsibility of those goals on Andre Onana.
Yeah,
and I'll say this. I mean, the first goal, the in swinging ball, and Onana's waiting for somebody to get a touch on it, reacts late.
This is an error on
he should have done. He should have done better, because he does go to parry the ball away and completely misses it. Yep. So that seems like. Again, I'm not a goalkeeper, but it feels like he probably should have done a little bit better there.
Well, hearing other goalkeepers say, and that's a mistake from the goalkeeper, it tells me that's a mistake from the goalkeeper.
The second one, it's like, what are you going to do, bro? Yeah. He gets a rocket shot at him. He tries to stop it, and then the
those
Leon
you can
player
understand.
Gets
the first one was egregious.
But given all the beef beforehand,
all the spotlight's on you now, bro.
You can't. It just can't happen.
No,
I mean, because it sounds like Matic is in your head.
Yeah.
And so that's the disappointing part for him, and I'm sure a lot of Manchester United fans. And then over the weekend in the Premier League, Amorim is like, take a day off.
Yeah. Hey, I spoke to Matic on the phone.
He said,
we suggest you don't play right now.
So there's a little bit of, I think, a conversation worth having on like how Amorim is handling this. I don't think he's instilling confidence in Onana. They do have the next leg of that game, obviously on Thursday next week or this week. It'll be again the spotlight is going to be on just one player, and if he makes a mistake again, it's a bad. I think not playing him this weekend is a bad look. And a little bit of a hit to Onana's confidence.
Here's where I'm going to disagree with you. Bayandor, I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name. Bayandor, yeah. The Turkish kid who came in, who was the backup, he looked so bad. He made so many mistakes.
I would say still Newcastle are very good.
Yeah.
And United are a really bad team.
But it would have been worse had suddenly the backup, who everybody loves the backup goalkeeper, right? He's never done any wrong, right? He's sitting there, give him a chance. Everybody loves the backup goalkeeper, like everybody loves the backup quarterback in every city. He comes in and lays an absolute stinker where you got to sit back and go, maybe Onana's not perfect. Maybe it's also defensively causing a lot of issues, right? Maybe it's not just Onana's fault. I agree that Onana makes mistakes. Maybe it's not just his fault, but you got to sit there and say, he might be the best we have. And we had this conversation before we started recording about whether Amorim is making this decision because of what's happened these last few weeks, sort of that pressure mounting. Maybe it's getting to Onana versus maybe just giving him a break. I actually think this plays into Onana's hand a little bit better because you see the backup's not going to help you, bro. I'm all you got.
Right.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, unless they decide, remember when Onana came in, he was one of the best goalkeepers in Europe. I mean, this seemed like a coup for them to get him. I just think it's overall just the same with Amorim. One of the best coaches in Europe comes in here, not doing great. They're below Everton, which is, I know, not saying much, but as a bar, not really where you want to be. Below Everton. I think at the end of the day, this is more of another symptom of the overall Manchester United problems, just another thing that needs to be fixed moving forward. This isn't necessarily I don't think this team is in Champions League if you remove Onana and get a better goalkeeper in.
But Amorim is making comments of, being coy about not backing his goalkeeper.
What happened when he first got to Manchester United? Everything he said, he wasn't coy at all, and they attached themselves to every word.
This is given if there's just to me, it's like if another team, if Men in Blazers starts talking crap about Alexis Guerreros, am I gonna be like, oh, just some days we don't have a great show, or or sometimes the other co-hosts are. We'll see what the other co-hosts bring. that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Just like to that point, I'm like, defend your man a little bit. I'm not saying you have to start him every
That's like
game.
somebody calls your lady a hoe, and you're like. I mean, she do be, and you're like, no, that's
no.
You already failed as a husband.
There's a little bit of where's a little bit of loyalty? I understand, like if a player is bad and whatever, but everybody in United has some accountability. But I could talk about you. Men in Blaze can't talk about you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
so if Men in Blaze repeats what you normally say about me when the mics are off.
Hey, you can't be talking like that.
You can't talk about my guy like that.
So that's the frustrating part. But again, look, like you were saying, it's not all on Onana. Like the defending is Lindelof and the injuries, losing Lisandro Martinez. Now Xerxes looks like he's going to be out probably for the season. This team is completely, they have so many issues. Again, they are beneath Everton Football Club in the table. This is like it should be somewhat embarrassing, and I'm
people
saying
need
that
to
as
be
an
in
Everton
the streets in Manchester, bro.
Things are really, really bad.
Yeah,
I mean, let's just I think Amorim not being a little bit more commanding and stern about this situation.
I don't disagree with you, but he tried
this. Game against Lyon, that second leg, I would argue is the most important game of Manchester United's season. If they lose and they don't win Europa and they don't get into the Champions League, if they get into the Champions League, Amorim would be a genius.
Yeah.
This would be a brilliant move, and it worked out even with all the adversity. So
that's not
happening. Supporting your goalkeeper right now, I get it in a couple weeks, or you're out. If you're out of the thing, fine, say whatever. This is too important of a game.
I don't disagree with you, but I don't have all the confidence in the world that Manchester United win Europa. Even though at the beginning of the season we said this needs to be considered the best team in Europa, and clearly that's not coming to fruition.
Sure.
So I agree with you. If it works out that way, I don't have a lot of confidence that they're going to win. So I think Amorim is damned if he does, damned if he doesn't at this point.
Okay. The other thing we got to cover. Liverpool, Mohamed Salah does get a new contract. We've been talking about this for a long time.
All season with the will they, won't they. Finally, they did.
Came to their senses.
Yeah. Do we know how much he's getting paid? Did he get a big bump?
All I know it's $400K a week.
That's a bump.
And
I think it was at 350.
Two? Wait.
2-year contract.
2-year contract.
Oh, wait. Your mic is muted, Carter. Go for it again.
Yeah, 2-year contract.
The one time he was right to try to mime at us.
$400K a week.
400K. Wait, that was right.
2-year
Yeah,
contract, $400K a week.
So if I'm not mistaken, he was at $350K a week before that. So it was a little bit of a bump up. He got the 2 years. He probably wanted more, but it's smart. After that, go Saudi or wherever you want to go.
Right. He's so it's seemingly the reports are saying that he had a $500 million offer from Saudi. So he basically is saying he's saying I can play at the highest level, and then and saying like, oh, I'll so that Saudi offer will still be available when he's probably like 35, 36.
$500 million.
So
he had a San Diego FC. That's his offer. That's crazy.
You want to be an MLS owner, bro?
You already are, bro. You get your own franchise, bro. Mohamed Salah FC, play wherever you want, bro.
So, yeah, so it's
that's nuts.
But given if he stays healthy and finishes that contract.
Also, what he means to that region.
Exactly. The money.
I'm so happy for him to go there.
Yeah.
I don't care about anything else happening.
They're going to build a statue before he arrives.
He should walk through the statue as the entry. Like a Trojan horse. Come out of his own afro. Even though he doesn't have that anymore. He's going with the Dominican Papichulo haircut. But to me, there were the three big names, right, at Liverpool, right? You had your Trent Alexander-Arnold, you had your Mohamed Salah, and you had your Virgil van Dijk. Not in that order, obviously. You had to get it right. You had to re-sign two or at least one of them, right? Trent, we already know he's gone. He's going to Real Madrid. Got that out of the way. That leaves a little bit more. Now it almost feels like you have to do both Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk's still not settled. He's been kind of hands off about the whole thing. Like, we'll figure that out at the end of the season. We'll figure it out when the time comes. Mohamed Salah took a different track. Mohamed Salah saying, like, I can't be spicy about my own contract situation. I'm going to be spicy about yours. So in the post game, he said, now we got to get this guy settled up. As far as I'm concerned, how old is Virgil van Dijk? If you could look that up. I think he's 31, if I'm not mistaken. Virgil van Dijk. 31, 32. I'm all for Mohamed Salah getting a contract extension because he's proven physically he's the best, right?
Yeah.
He's put himself in a position.
Virgil van Dijk's 33.
33 years old.
Okay.
I think.
But for a center back, it's not really that big a deal.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. Mohamed Salah physically has put himself in position to say he's kind of timeless, right? Virgil van Dijk doesn't have a long history of injuries. Virgil van Dijk doesn't seem like the type of player that needs to run very much in a game.
Yeah.
He always puts himself in the right position. But at some point, he will be a little bit slower than everyone else. At some point, that does happen. And that could get caught out. Is he still worth that money if he takes that slight dip in the next season or two? Should they re-sign Virgil van Dijk is what I'm saying.
You would be crazy not to. He's just too...
but is that an American sports mentality of paying someone for what they've done, not for what they're gonna do?
I mean, what he's going to do it. I mean, there's been no dip in form. He has just been incredibly solid.
He's the best defender.
I mean, there's very few complaints. He's gotten caught out. He's made a couple mistakes this season.
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about.
2 or 3.
That's going to happen more, right? The slower and older he gets, the more that's going to happen. I'm not saying it happens enough where we consider him a bad defender. I don't think that's going to happen if he gets a 2-year contract as well. I don't think that'll happen in those 2 years.
Yeah.
But is that money worth that? Is there...
There's just no one else.
Better... Yeah,
there's no better... That's really the big issue.
That's not true, I think. Saliba. But that's fine.
But that Liverpool are actually going to sign that are available. No, what? Right. But play the clip real quick. This is Mohamed Salah talking about Virgil van Dijk's contract situation.
Look how happy he is to do it.
They're both smirking.
I think I'm glad that we managed to do that early before the end of the season, and hopefully Virgil also would be next. Well, I'm just saying hopefully. I didn't say
you're under the bus there, Virgil.
I just look, he can do whatever he wants.
All right, pause it there.
I would love to
I think
see him again next year.
You can pause it.
You can pause it. The funny thing here is just the there's just so much tension around this. It seems like I don't exactly know why, but even him jokingly being like, "Oh, hopefully he gets his contract." He's like, "No, wait, well, he could do whatever he wants." I'm like, "All right, you didn't say anything that crazy."
Well, I mean, you don't want to reveal anyone's hand, right? You don't want. You don't want the age. Virgil van Dijk's age is like, chill.
Yo, he doesn't.
We lying about this MLS contract, bro.
He doesn't hope any. Nobody's hoping for whatever.
Right. No. We need him to come to us with a number first.
Okay, you need to. It's all in doubt. Did
you ever hear the rule of like you when you make an offer in sales, right? You present your, okay, if we fix this, and we saved you whatever, 20%, will you sign a contract? Once you do that, the next person to make a sound loses. Have you ever heard of this theory?
Yeah.
Okay. One time I was on the phone. I did it. I was like, blah, 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 blah. If we could save you that, if we could do that, those things and save you 20%, will you sign on the dotted line? And I was wait. And it was uncomfortable. It was probably 4 seconds, but it was uncomfortable. The guy behind me, one of my good friends at the time, still, I hope he's doing well. I haven't talked to him in a minute. He knew that this was happening, and there was a couple, like the managers and stuff were surrounding me to make sure that the deal went through because it was a huge deal. And he just got up, he spread his butt cheeks and farted, and it went like, it was one of those. And everyone behind me started laughing, and I did not make the sale. I did not make the sale. The guy's like, what was that? And I said, I think it's the heating. And everyone's laughing. It was absolutely
the last direction I thought that story would go in.
That's basically what's happening here. It's like, an offer has been presented probably to Virgil Van Dijk, and no, or maybe it's the opposite, and no, you can't speak. No,
right.
No, and you can't give up any leverage whatsoever. Every little thing is like, that's the weakness. We won.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. Whatever he wants to do, it's up to him. It's blah, blah, blah. He basically spread his butt cheeks and farted. It's basically what happened.
Yes. Well, okay. Great analogy.
Now, what can Men in Blazers say about that? I dare you to find something.
All right. The last thing this wasn't on the rundown. I just want to mention this, but Everton did beat Nottingham Forest this weekend.
What is going on?
And I'm only mentioning this
because you're wearing an Everton shirt.
But I'm only mentioning this because I tweeted at our peer,
you're gonna lose this bet.
Yahoo.
If you don't remember, Ariel Hawani and you have a bet that you thought Everton would finish above.
I was very confident.
Yeah. Well, then no, it's not happening.
It doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
But
you should have said Manchester United.
But we did beat them.
You did beat them
over the weekend. Great goal from and who did a whole, speaking of contract stuff, he did a contract. He was like a little signature celebration, being like, "Yo, give me the contract. I will sign it." But I did, tweet at Ariel Hawani.
Okay, the only other person interested in this.
And I tweeted him the Molly McCann video of her screaming up the effing toffees after a big UFC. Shout out to Molly, who retired from fighting. So a lot of other women's faces are safer right now.
Yeah. And my arm. Every time I'm at a left, she punched me. I'm like, please stop doing that. You have lethal weapons on your wrists.
So I responded with that nice little cheeky response, and he said, at least we're not in 14th. Okay, Ariel. Good comeback, I guess.
You're not, but you did lose to someone who is.
So look, you might end up winning the bet. I'm just saying, but I gotta get my jabs in where I can. All right. So I'm not trying to look silly in this fight.
Right. At the end, he will win, but at least you got this moment.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. I got my face is swollen.
We had him in the first half.
My lip is bleeding.
Yeah.
All right. But my wife is still proud of me.
Yeah, that's right. What is the bet? What is the?
Well, we just said there was a bet, but we didn't say what the consequences would be.
Oh, that's tough because you can't make it too egregious now because he knows he's gonna win.
Yeah. But we'll see. Maybe I'll think of something. I'm gonna live up to the bet though. If he doesn't decide the terms of it, I'll try to do something. Whether it's wearing a Nottingham kit or something like that for a show. I
think we could do a little bit more than that. Wear a Nottingham kit. I hate these stupid bets. Like you gotta wear a Barcelona kit. Who cares? It's a shirt.
Okay, I gotta get punched by Molly McCann, according to Alexis.